But I'm not sure the way last time you win.
Yeah.
Passport.
Okay.
But I'm not sure the
Okay.
Yeah, hello, Penny. Hello. Yo. Yo, Nsaase. I hope that today everything is going to go correct. Okay. He's on. He's on, yeah. Okay. 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 Okay, I think we can start. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, listeners and viewers. You are warmly welcome to Vital Ghana Radio and to today's edition of Nsaase Nsem, Land Issues in Ghana. I hope we all had a good working week. My name is Joyce Atajemfi.
sorry.
I am a land lawyer and I provide legal consults on land and real estate issues. This program has been put up so that I'll have the opportunity to provide some legal information on land issues, acquisition of land and registration of land, everything that relates to building and all the many problems that we encounter on land acquisition in Ghana. This program is here to assist you. Even if the problem is still there, at least you will have an appreciation of why the problem is like that, what you can do about it, and as much as possible, mitigate your risks involved in land acquisition in Ghana. Today, all is set for us to have the discussion with Mr. Eben Doku. I think we all remember that last week we had challenges with the network, so he could not have the scheduled interview, but today I can see him, and I hope my viewers who are on Zoom can also see Mr. Eben Doku. So without much ado, we would want to welcome warmly to Vital Ghana Radio, Mr. Eben Doku, who is from the Adenta Municipal Assembly and a member of the Greater Accra Lands Commission. So, Mr. Eben Doku, thank you so very much for making time for us this evening, and for you to be a resource person to us to help us appreciate what the municipality does the challenges confronting it, and the issues about building permits, encroachment, and as usual, all the things that go about with land acquisitions in Ghana from the Municipal Assembly's perspective. So, Mr. Bendoku, once again, you are warmly welcome. We hope that viewers and listeners will be able to pick up some good information from our discussions that will empower them or help them to appreciate what they have to do and to better appraise on what are the issues in land acquisition in Ghana. So thank you very much, Ibn Doku. Welcome once again.
Well, thank you, Madam Joyce.
Okay. So, Mr. Doku, you are a member of the
I
Greater
hope you...
Accra region. Yes, Mr. Doku, you said.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Hello? Yeah,
Hello.
sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Madam Joyce.
Okay. So I'm saying that
Yeah.
you're a member of the Greater Accra Region Lands Commission.
Yes.
Once you're a member, I would want you to tell us a bit about the Greater Accra Lands Commission. That means the composition, those who make up the membership, and the core functions of the Greater Accra Lands Commission.
Good evening, viewers. The Greater Accra Lands Commission, like the mother body Lands Commission, was created by an act in 2008. That's Act 767. And the Greater Accra Lands Commission is made up of people with varied experiences and from many other agencies. We have a chairman of the Lands Commission who is appointed by the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources or his deputy. We have a representative from the regional House of Chiefs. We have each municipality or district being represented by one person, like I do for the Adenta Municipal Assembly. We have a member from a department responsible for town and country planning. We have a nominee from the Ghana Bar Association because legal matters comes up from day to day. We have a rep from the Ghana Bar Association. We have a member representing the National Association of Farmers and Fishermen in the region. Then we have the regional lands officer, who is the manager of the Greater Accra Regional Lands Commission. So this is the composition of the Lands Commission. And our function as a Lands Commission in the region is to make sure we manage the lands in the region on behalf of government. We also advise government on policies that comes up in respect of lands within the region. And we also make sure that when issues comes up on some of these lands, we are able to tell government that this is what it is or this is what it is not.
Okay, thank you very much. From the composition that you gave us, we can see that issues about policy is really what government will be looking at the Greater Accra Lands Commission. I think from what you said, there's representation from the House of Chiefs, town planning, there's a member of our bar there. So that's a good composition, and I hope we are able to render the service that the law intended the Lands Commission to be able to do. Thank you, Mr. Ben Doku. Okay, what is a municipal assembly? We keep hearing it, and sometimes it has all the political connotations, appointment of municipal chief executives and all those things. We hear it from the political angle, but today we would want to appreciate it from the land or developmental perspective. What is a municipal assembly? What are its functions and responsibilities? Mr. Doku, please, can you hear me? Hello? Oh, I think we are having a network challenge. Hello? Oh, no. Mr. Doku, can you hear me? Hello? Okay, I think we can. I can. Hello, Mr. Doku. Hello, Mr. Doku. I think we are having network challenges. I just asked a question, but I think I'm ready. So let me try. Okay. Okay, please. Right. Thank you. I think we had a bit of network challenges. Mr. Doku will be coming on soon so that we can continue our discussion. So, viewers and listeners, that was just a break. Just bear with us. He will be with us very soon so that we can continue the discussions. So today's program is a discussion with Mr. Benduku, who is with the Adenta Municipal Assembly. So he and a member of the Greater Accra Lands Commission. So he is here to help us appreciate what goes on in the Municipal Assembly, the responsibilities, their functions, what they practically do as an assembly, and the land issues that come up in the course of their work and how they resolve them or they manage them. And as we know, Adenta covers a wide area where there are state lands, there are government estates, state acquisitions that were done years ago. So he's here to help us appreciate all those things and what goes into building permits, acquiring building permits. When you acquire a building permit, what is supposed to be done? And maybe you build before you went for a building permit. Those are all some of the questions we are going to have Mr. Benduku try to help us understand and appreciate. So I hope we wouldn't have any more challenges and the discussion can continue. Okay.
I think I am back.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doku. I hope we will not have any more interruptions so that our viewers and listeners.
I don't know why the network is a bit.
Okay, yeah, it's appreciated, but we hope it will be stable so that we can have a smooth transmission and discussion. So you answer that you help us appreciate what the Lands Commission, the membership of the Lands Commission, and what you basically do as the Greater Accra Lands Commission. And I just asked a question that we hear about municipal assemblies, and sometimes we hear it from the political angle, and the issues that come about municipal chief executives, the wranglings that go about appointments and all those things. But we really do not know what a municipal assembly does. So today that you are with us here, I pray that you'll be able to help us appreciate what are the functions and the responsibilities of a municipal assembly and what they really do in a community.
So basically, we all know that central government in implementing its policies and programs would have to decentralize the way these things are done. And we started this decentralization policy somewhere 1988 or so, if my memory serves me right, where this country is divided into regions and to municipalities or districts. It is a way of trying to implement government policy and try to make sure things are done. So we have municipalities, we have the districts, we have metropolitan areas within our setup. The municipalities or the districts, as we have them, have their various functions. One is to exercise political administrative authority in the district. Like I said earlier, government must have its policies and administrative functions executed in such a way that these things come down to the people. And as such, the districts perform some of these functions. One other function we perform as a district is to make sure that
Oh no. Hello. It looks like we are having challenges again with Mr. Doku's network. Those of you joining us on Zoom, it's unfortunate we seem to be having these challenges with Mr. Doku's network, but we just hope that it will be stable for us to have the intended discussion for today. Hello, Mr. Dogu. Can you hear us?
Hello?
There was a break again. Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm not about that on the sets.
I don't know if your connection is okay now for us to continue the discussion.
Yeah, I think I am back. Let's check and see.
Okay, please. I don't know why we are having these challenges. Oh. Yeah, Mr. Doku, I can see you now.
Yes. Yeah. So like I was saying, hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
I think the network is
you were telling us about the functions.
Yeah, so let's see what we can do. I was saying that the district assemblies we are implementing agencies of government, such that we try to implement policies that come from government. And if we want to talk with respect of our, we are responsible for the development of the district and to be sure that we develop plans for the district. Hello?
Okay, I can hear you as you develop plans for the district. Okay, and how do you manage the district? Hello. I think if we are going to have challenges with the network, maybe what I'll have to do, unfortunately, is that I will have to ask him the questions on the side and then relay it to us all, those of us listening and viewing. Otherwise, it may mean that we'll have these interruptions, and I don't think it will make for a good flow of the program for today. So if the network is going to be a challenge, I may have to be relaying what he says, and in the end, we'll still be able to have the information that we require. Zedoku, we still have challenges with the network. Let's see how we're able to manage it. Otherwise, then maybe I'll have to ask you the questions and relay your answers back to viewers and to those listening in. Yeah. So you were still on the functions of the assembly. Yes.
So I was saying that so in the case of the topic we're discussing, the land within the municipality, within our catchment areas, it is our duty to make sure we put a plan to it as whether a land is going to be used for residential, whether a part of the area will be for commercial, whatever it is a duty of the assembly to plan this the land within the area. So these are some of the things we do.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
That the general planning of the community is in the hands of the assembly. Thank you. Maybe with time we'll find out why there are haphazard developments and what the municipal assembly does about it. But to yourself, Mr. Edoku, as a representative of the Adenta Municipal Assembly at the Greater Accra Lands Commission, what is your responsibility between you as a member of the assembly and you as a member at the Lands Commission? What's the correlation?
All we do is to approve of lands as to whether they are organizations or applications or whatever. So my duty is to make sure that lands within my area issues come up. Hello? When
Hello,
issues about
okay.
identity lands come up at the commission, it is my duty to make sure that the purpose for development of the area is done in accordance with our plan.
Okay, so you relay issues that are happening at the Adenta municipality to the Lands Commission, Greater Accra Lands Commission, and you also bring the policies that are taken at the Greater Accra Lands Commission to the municipality. Is
Hello?
that some of the things that you do? Can you hear me, Mr. Doku? Hello? 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 Okay, I think what we'll have to do to be able to have
Hi.
the discussion is that, yes, is it okay now? So unfortunately, the connection is not good. Hello? Hello? So maybe I will put the questions to him, and as he answers, I will relay the answers to viewers and listeners. It's unfortunate that okay, Mr. Doku, it looks like the network is not stable, so I will have to do a dual work today. I will ask you the questions, and then I'll relay your answers to viewers and listeners. It would have been better if the connection was good, but it looks like we are not getting that. Okay, yes. Yes, so I was asking you that what is your responsibility as the representative of the Adenta Municipal Assembly at the Greater Accra Region Lands Commission?
So I was saying that once we plan the land within our area, our duty to make sure that whatever plans we have for the area are adhered to. So as a member of the commission, my duty is to make sure that lands within my area, the area, when they come up at the commission for either regularization or for whatever the person wants to do. So my duty to make sure that whatever the person wants to do is in line with what the land use is as a stakeholder assembly. And said that whatever we plan in the area access to the land commission for either plotting or whatever, and then when issues come up on this land, I use to report back to the assembly and also relay issues about the lands to the commission.
Thank you very much. Viewers, like I said, I have to relay in what he says because I don't think what he says also comes out very clearly. So I just asked him what his responsibilities are as a representative of the Adenta Municipal Assembly at the Greater Accra Region Lands Commission, and he's making us appreciate that they prepare the plans, the general plans for the area, developmental plans for the area, the layout for the area. And one of their duties is to ensure that when issues about regularization come up, they ensure that it's in accordance with the planning scheme of the area. And then the policy decisions too that are taken at the Greater Accra Region Lands Commission, he relays it to the Adenta Municipal Assembly to shape them in the decisions they take. So he serves as a link between the issues that come up at the Adenta Municipal Assembly to the Greater Accra Lands Commission. He relays also government policies taken at the Greater Accra Lands Commission to the Adenta Municipal Assembly. Zedoko, I think that's what captures what you said. Thank you very much. Okay. The jurisdiction of the assembly, I know, can cut across the boundaries of more than one land-owning family. That means in a one particular area, it can have 4, 5, 6, or 20. And you know that a lot of there's fragmentation of the families. So there can be, I'm sure, about 20 families that own lands in the Adenta community. Can you tell us a bit about the Adenta Municipal Assembly, like the ownership patterns of land there, the various interests of lands, state housing interest, PNT, help us appreciate the composition of lands, land owning people in Adenta, and then those two that belong to government.
Yeah, so with regards to Adenta, we have land that belongs to state housing, like you said. There is land that belongs to aviation, Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, which is now being given out. There's land that belongs to Ghana Telecom, that's the TNT land. And for us, we have a major problem here because we have the people arguing the lands within Nigeria going to belong to the Teshi family. So you have the Nungwa people having land in Adenta. You have the Labari people owning land in Adenta. You have the Nungwa people owning land in Adenta, and that's our major problem. So, for instance, Nigeria going to belong to the Teshi family. If you go to after Ashi, amount from all the lands that belong to the people from La, or we say Labadi. Yeah, you know, we share boundary with Katamanso, that's called Katamanso. And their lands are owned by people from Nungwa. But unfortunately for us, these people, because of migration and all that, and all those issues that happened in those days, there's a major issue of boundary. Who owns which land after way? So there's an overlap of land ownership, and it is one of the major problems in that area. You will find people coming all the way from Katamanso to claim ownership of land in Ashi, which should not happen. It shouldn't be the case. But because of boundary issues, issues going on some of these chiefs and some of the tools, family, these issues come up. So we are under constraints by some of these problems. When they come up, we try to bring the families together, sit them down, and sometimes talk to them to be able to settle some of these problems. There are times that we ask them to go to court, or we ask them to go to the Lands Commission to try and sort out their boundaries issues and come back. These are all the problems we have on that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Doku. You are giving us so much information. I don't know if you can try and come on the set again and see if the connection will be okay. Because I think when viewers and listeners are able to hear from you directly, it will make the discussion more meaningful and interesting. So you were just making us appreciate that the state Adenta Municipal Assembly covers a whole wide area, and then you have families who originated from Ajiringan or Teshi, Labadi, Nungwas also have lands there. And so invariably it brings about multiplicity of interest in that area. And then the issue about boundaries, it is not clear whose boundary it is at a point in time. And these all causes conflicts. You said you have challenges with people from Katamanso. It may not make sense to people who may be in Delaware or listening to us from outside, but these are all areas that are within the Adenta Municipal Assembly and those that they share boundary with. You say that when some of the issues come up, you try and settle it within the assembly, where it's beyond you. You ask them to go to court, or you tell them to go to the Lands Commission itself to have their boundary issues settled. Mr. Doku, I don't know, somebody's feedback. We are having feedback from somebody. I don't know whose child it is. We're having a feedback. Mr. Doku, I said you should try and see if you can get back on the set and then see if we can be able to have the discussions directly about you. Yes, you are telling us about some of the functions and how the assembly has so many estates, PNT, aviation lands. You just mentioned aviation lands. So if people want some of the aviation lands, how do they go about it?
With regards to that, I think now people have been allocated and some are selling them. The last time I checked, the minimum you can get for a plot of land is $60,000.
Wow.
Wow.
Hello?
Wow.
Yes.
Hello. Wow.
Yes. There are places that have been earmarked for commercial builders, and some areas have been earmarked for residential property. So that is what it is in Adenta now.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's nothing beyond 60,000 USD.
Wow.
Some are yes for sale. Because sometimes we work with the commission. Will tell you that I have 1 acre on the land that I want to sell. Probably $1,000 for the plot. So that makes the acre comes to about $200,000. But for negotiation. So.
Okay. Well, that is very important information that Mr. Doku is giving us, that the aviation lands, which used to be government acquired land for the civil aviation, and was given back to, some was given back to, I think, the owners, but part has been zoned out and it's been allocated. And the speculations are going on about the land. If you want one there, you can get somebody maybe who has been allocated the land to sell it to you at $60,000. But he's saying that it's a well-planned area that maybe it would be good to have a property if the monies are what you can afford. It is on the high side, but I'm sure if people are interested, they may be able to contact the Lands Commission or those that have been allocated some of those lands so that they can purchase. Okay. Mr. Doku, please tell us about the sources of funding for the assembly. You said you provide a lot of amenities. You are responsible for planning the area and ensuring that developments are in accordance with planning. Please tell us about how you're able to raise your sources of funding for the assembly.
The assembly gets their funding through one, the government of Ghana, that's from the National Common Fund, which is normally not so much. Then we have funding that comes from donors. We have the EU and other multinational organizations that come to the aid of the assembly. In the case of Adentan, we have the EU coming in to support us to have a fish farming project. We recently ended a mushroom project with the EU also. And we come with some funding, $800,000, 1 million euros and all that. So we get money from donors. We also get money from IT, rather internally generated funds. And that is where the property bill that people pay to us comes in handy. We also take or get money as the IGF from building permits and building operating permits. When we say building operating permits, or rather, the building permits or the operating permits. The operating permits are the small money we take from the kiosk and who place their containers along the roadside to sell or as vantage points to sell. We give them permits. Once you are building your house, we also take all the permits from you, and also property. After you build your house, every year there's a rate to pay to us. This is a chunk of the money that we use in it for other purposes, and that is why we always encourage people to pay their building permits before they start with their building. We also pay property rates after the building has been put up, because that is how we are able to get money to sometimes work on drain, work on some roads with the municipality, and in some cases work on creating access routes for people when they need be. In the last few years, we have done a bit of bridges that link one community to the other. It's through this IGF that we do some of these things. So we'll play on this sort of, let me play with people who are property in the area to come up with, or to come in handy with their property rates or their building permits. That's how we can develop the area.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doku. I don't know whether listeners and viewers are able to hear Mr. Doku, But we just asked a question about the sources of funding or sources of revenue for the Adenta Municipal Assembly. He explains that some of it comes from the District Assembly Common Fund, but it is not sufficient. And they also have funding coming from donors like the EU, which helps them to be able to do projects like fish farming and other projects. That's mushroom farming and other things. They also generate monies themselves, what we call the IGF, internally generated funds. And they do that through the property rates, building operating permits that they give to people who have kiosks and things around, and the building permits, the fees that are paid for building permits. And they use some of these monies to build bridges, to link communities, and to provide roads, access roads, and all those things. Zedoko, thank you. That means there's a lot of work that the assembly is doing, that if they had funding, I'm sure they'll be able to do more work. We pray that your mobilization is able to go on and you'll be able to have more money for the projects that are supposed to go on. We just want to find out that this program is to educate people. And I just want to tell viewers and those listening in that we are interviewing Mr. Eben Doku, who is a member of the Adenta Municipal Assembly and a representative at the Greater Accra Lands Commission. So he's telling us about the activities within the Greater Accra Lands Commission and also the Adenta Municipal Assembly. We've discussed a bit about what the Assembly does, but we are now going to talk about the things that will interest us more. Things about building permits and the encroachments that sometimes we all find ourselves involved in unknowingly because we acquire lands in good faith from chiefs, not knowing that maybe they are lands that have been acquired for government. So you are tuned in to Vital Radio Ghana, and this is the program Nsaase Nsem, and this is your guest that we have on the program today, Mr. Eben Doku. And I am Lawyer Joyce Atajenfi. Today I have somebody that I'm interviewing who is also providing very important information to help us know about what we have to do about land issues, land acquisition, and some of the challenges that come up and what one can do. So we pray that you stay tuned in and you'll be connected so that we can continue to have the discussions and be able to have the necessary information that is required about land acquisition and the building permits and all that go with construction. So, Mr. Doku, I'm asking, what are some of the land issues that confront the Assembly, and how do you go about resolving them? What are some of the main issues that confront the Assembly?
The issues are mainly varied. We have encroachment on state land. We have people who have built on virtually, let's say 80-90% of the PFC land, even though the land are built in the name of government, who have encroached these lands. As much as you try to stop them, it's always a difficult situation, you know. We also have people who are building without permits. And we have land guards who have turned themselves into landowners who are allocating land to people to build on. And with government acquired land, because it is the name of government, we don't give them permit, and it becomes a problem. If you come to the animal research area around the Papa in Adenta, people have encroached on this land, and because of that, they are not getting permits. This is because landlords are now the people giving them the land to build on. It's happening the same way with the dairy farms around Amahia, within the municipality also. And it's creating a lot of problems. We also have families whose land overlap. Because, like I said earlier, we have people who are moving from Labadi, who claim ownership of land to be the area. And there are times that we have lapses. people would come from Catamount and tell you there's a land and they cannot belong to them. And for the sake of those in the US who don't know, who I don't know how the situation is, it's like moving from Nsaase to Teshima today, the land in Teshima is yours. That's what we are looking at. To move far away to other places to claim ownership of land is the problem. The problem. You also have people building on water within the municipality. And like we all know, if you block the way for water, water will find its way out. And there is also a lot of flooding within the municipality. So these are all the problems we have. And you would have same family members selling same land to different people. That's where the multiple field of land comes in. You have one family with different old division, a cousin against a cousin. One cousin sells the land to you, another cousin goes to sell the land to a different person, and they leave you. At the end, the two of you are trouble fighting each other and all that. So these are all the problems we have with the municipality.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't know if viewers and listeners are able to hear Mr. Doku. Unfortunately, because of the unstable nature of his network, we are not able to have him to speak to us directly. So I'm trying to relay what he says to us. I asked him what are some of the land issues that confront the assembly and how they go about resolving them. Mr. Doku, I think you didn't talk about how you resolve them. So I'll just state what you said a bit and then you tell us how you go about resolving them. More into details.
We now have
yes.
Okay. That's how we resolve them. The assembly have now appointed a prosecutor, okay, who works with the environmental health department. And his duty is to make sure that when we have issues, he prosecutes people who are building on waterways, prosecute people who build without permit, because we don't want a situation where we pull in the house down and you find people instead of building during the day are now building at night, because when they build during the day, we come and see them movement, we come and harass them, we come and sack them, so they now build at night. So if the person goes at night, he continues to go to your side, you working out, you don't find it. He ends up finally go to the house and he goes to the tiny garden. So we now have a prosecutor who would prosecute you, take you to court, and you are served with a stop notice. So when the court gives you a notice to stop and you don't, then the contempt charge is served on you. So this has been the way we are trying to solve the problems within the municipality. Where there are boundary issues, we will direct them to the land commission to go and let them talk. That is after we have tried to engage them and there's no solution. So that's what we do. Madam Judge.
Thank you very much. I can see you are doing a lot of work with all the challenges that are going on. So you mentioned that government acquired a lot of lands at the Adenta areas, P&T lands, and you are saying about 80% of that P&T lands have been encroached upon, built on. Is the Lands Commission going to release those lands?
Just last week, the P&T, the plan for the area has been approved.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes. The Lands Commission is trying to recognize their document for them. And so we asked the assembly, to put plan the area. Okay.
Yes.
And this plan has been signed and approved. I think next week we are moving to the community to let them know that yes, whatever they can go on is fine, but the lands that are left are not for them. You should leave it for government to do what it wants to do with the rest. So the area has been zoned and planned, and this has been approved. So next week we are going into the area to see how we can organize the documentations for them.
Okay.
These are all the things we do.
Okay. Let me see if I can capture it to my viewers and listeners. You are saying that the PNT lands, which has been encroached to about 80%, the area has now been rezoned. That means it is no more those lands are no more government lands, or they are now government. They are government lands. They are still government lands, and government is regularizing it for the encroachers. Okay. Mr. Doku is telling us that those lands that were encroached upon are being regularized. So people are going to pay penalty. Is that not it?
Sure.
People are going to pay penalty to have it regularized for them. And pay for their documents to be regularized for them. And you made us understand that lands also that belong to the Animal Research Institute are being encroached upon. Dairy farms at Amirahia are also being encroached upon. And you have land guards who are also selling off some of the lands. People build on waterways. And you have families, heads. One family have different people selling lands. And so you have multiple sales of lands going on in the area. And what you have tried to do to mitigate some of these things, or to have some control measures in place, is to have a prosecutor, so that when people build, you are able to notify them, to put them on stop notice given out to them. And if they fail to stop, because they are being prosecuted in court, contempt can be placed on them. And then if it comes to the worst situations, then it means that the assembly may have to go ahead and demolish those buildings if it is in areas that are waterways and unapproved areas. And you are saying that when there are boundary issues which come about a lot of time, because the community is made up of different families and land owning groups, you either try to settle some of the issues yourself as the Adenta Municipal Assembly, or you ask them to go to the Lands Commission to have their boundary issues settled. And then if there is no conclusion or resolutions, they may have to go to courts. Thank you very much for Mr. Doku for bringing us on speed on some of these issues, that some of the encroached lands have been regularized. I think some of the questions we are going to ask further will break down some of the things we have, because we have people in the US, in Europe, and all the other places who have bought lands that they didn't know they were government lands. They didn't know they've been acquired for state housing, they've been acquired for PNT, aviation, and they buy them because the chiefs maybe have shown them judgments and things like that, or the chiefs let them know that they are the ones who are the owners of the land. And so they buy these lands, and unfortunately they are not able to get documents that they can proceed to let them become the legal owners of the land and for them to have their titles registered. So that is a big challenge, and it is good to know that government is trying to take some steps to mitigate some of the hardship that come to those, especially who are outside, who unknowingly buy these lands, albeit in good faith. So, Mr. Doku, if a person unknowingly acquires land belonging to state housing or to the state, as you may have it now at PNT, what is the person supposed to do? I'm asking this question on behalf of the hundreds and hundreds of people who have acquired lands that they didn't know belong to government. What does the person do?
Luckily for us, these houses, or if you acquire land that belongs to the state, what you should be doing is to find out which government institution owns that land. So if the land belongs to state housing, you go to state housing and tell them, I purchased a land, which maybe I paid for, but I am now in the zone that the land belongs to you, state housing. I'll please if you can regularize my documentation for me. And there's a fee you pay. I mean, they will let you pay for the land that belongs to them. Then they get you your documentation. And if there are people who are watching this site and who have land in the PNT entry, then it should be like that the land will have in the coming weeks. You know, so it's not much of a problem. If you don't know, you are quite like that perspective. You also need to go to this agency to tell them about the land. And if they will write it for you, then it is for you. If it is a land that would not go to individual, then you know you have to move from the land as quietly as possible.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doku. But what about those who buy these lands and the state agency maybe also says that they are not ready to relinquish their interest in the land? What do those people do?
Then there's a problem. Then there's a problem. You need to really go to negotiate with them. You take a place like animal research and from our poster, people went and encroach on their land. When the animal research wanted their land back, they became an issue. It was the residents that went to court. And what the court is saying is that now the animal research should take care of the land that is left for them and go into the negotiation with the people and let them have that land that is given to them. I mean, their own agreement, they should come together and come to a solution or agreement as to what we will pay for what. And then we can take care of the land that is there. So they will ask by the court to make sure they fence or take care of what is there, or discharge of what is there. And the rest will be given to the people as a fee or whatever. Okay. So once you go to the people, the owners of the land, they'll tell you what to do. Okay. Normally, demolition is the last thing government would do, especially when the encroachment are in the state of the landscape. It's not just one or two programs, and they are making. I don't think any government will be that callous or inhumane to pull down the crowd.
Thank you. I think we are running out of time. You've just explained that when people unknowingly encroach on these lands because they buy them on the false assumption that it's for a family or it's for a chief, not knowing that it's an estate acquired land, your advice is that they go and find out through a search at the Lands Commission who is the agency, the state agency that the state acquired the land for. So if it is the animal research that the state acquired the land from, you are saying that then they are supposed to go to Animal Research Institute. That is the agency they have to deal with until the agency decides what has to be done about the land. And you've just cited an incident about how the residents in that area or people who have built lands in that area went to court. And the court, as a way of trying to resolve the impasse, knowing that it is a properly acquired land, have told Animal Research that they should fence off the land that has not been encroached on so that they can protect their interest in it or keep it for the purpose for which government wanted it. And we all know the Animal Research is for a purpose. And then the rest of the land, they are to see how it's to be done. That means a layout will have to be prepared before maybe the regularization has to be done at a fee. Like I said, Mr. Doku, our time is going quite quickly. I think one important thing that viewers and listeners would like to know is that how do you go about acquiring building permits? We know we acquire building permits from the assemblies. How does one go about acquiring a building permit? Hello?
Hi.
I'm asking about building permits. If you can just tell us the process for acquiring building permits.
I think that is important. First of all, if you are coming for a building permit, one, you have to come with a proof of ownership. That is, if you are giving an inventor, you also have to go to the Lands Commission and give us a search report to indicate if the person who sold the land to you is the real owner of the land. So you must come with a search report on the Lands Commission. Secondly, if it is a two-story building, one-story building, or a flat house, you come with 4 copies of the indenture and the architectural drawing. There must be a drawing of whatever you want to put up. Don't go to draftsmen. Go to architects who will give you a drawing of your house. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Doku, we are with you. Please continue.
Yeah. So, if it is a 3-story building, I think if it's a 1-story, 2-story flat house, you have 4 copies of your architectural drawing. You have a sketch of ownership that is attached to your documentation or whatever. But if it's from a 3-story building, add a entire report to it. Add a soil test report for a CSIR. Then, if it is for commercial purposes, you add a permit from the EPA, that's the Environmental Protection Agency. Then, you add a traffic impact assessment, which should come from the urban rules. So I'm saying if it's for commercial purposes, you have all those things brought, and in addition you bring an EPA permit and the traffic impact assessment of the urban rules. Then there will be a site inspection by a technical subcommittee which will sit and look at your application. The technical subcommittee that looks into these applications is made up of the end of that assembly.
Okay.
So made up of reps from the EPA, a rep from the Land Commission, 4 members from the assembly. So 4 assembly members will be part of the committee. And you have a member from the work subcommittee of the assembly. You have a member of the developmental subcommittee of the assembly.
Oh, okay.
You have a member of the Ghana Water, a member of urban roads, and they meet every month to look at the applications that have been done.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Process. Okay. I think what we'll do to help our listeners and our viewers is that we will try and get it bulleted, or so that we can show it next week, so that people will quickly be able to appreciate what is involved in the building permit process. So you say that 1, there's proof of ownership. You should provide proof of ownership. Either you have your title certificate, or you bring a cert to indicate that the person who may have sold you the land is the owner of the land. So you require a search report. Is that it, Mr. Doku?
Yes.
A search report. And then secondly, 4 copies of the indenture. Is that what you said?
Of the architectural drawing.
4 copies of the architectural drawing and indentures, right? And then if it is a 3-story building, you require a fire what? A fire report from the fire service and a soil test report. If the land is for a 3-story building and above, and if it is commercial, you add EPA permits, and then province from urban roads.
If it's a commercial I mean, it doesn't affect the traffic of the area. The traffic situation of the area.
Okay. And then after that, site inspection is conducted.
After that, the technical committee will put to the site and do site inspection.
Okay. Do the site inspection committee, do they go with the person who is applied for the permit? Do they go independently, or they go with the person who has applied for the permit? Oh, that means they know all these areas. Okay.
Your line is big.
Okay, you said that they go there and to go and inspect the land.
Yes.
To inspect the land.
Yes.
Also, and you told us about the composition of the site. Is this special planning committee?
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned the EPA, the Lands Commission,
The Lands Commission, 4 members of the
Assembly,
a member of the Work Subcommittee,
Water and Sewage.
We invite a member from the Ghana Water and Sewage or Ghana Water Company. There's a member from the Urban Roads, or the Urban Road Officer at the center of the committee.
Is a member, so you have all these state agencies being committee members, and they meet once in a month. Okay.
So every year they are supposed to meet at least a minimum of 12 times.
So they meet a minimum of 12 times. Okay, so lastly, Mr. Bdoku, before we round up our discussion, if somebody has already encroached on the land, is the building permit still necessary? Because the person has already built.
Yes, you still have to. You still have to. Normally, if you've already built, there are times it goes off. But if you want to have an extension done, then they will come in and sometimes they let you do the permit for the main house before the extension is also paid for. That would be a sort of letting you pay for once you did it in the beginning.
Okay, so it means that if the person builds, then sometimes it is like the person can be there without the assembly coming around to ask whether you have a building permit. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, sometimes they do, and you pay for your property rate.
But you pay your property rate. Well, will that not encourage people to build without coming for building permits?
Well, you see, another needs to be under Shama. And let the rules go for the task force to come all the way to an end. In those days without permit. So in that case, how do you afford the person to pay for permit? So the permit now. I get it. So once the time is lapsed, it becomes what we ask for. But if you I can't see once them now to go extension PTR, that's Lord the young.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Doku, thank you very much. Our time is gone. I don't know if any of our viewers or listeners would want to ask a question, but I think that our producer will give us a few minutes. I just want you to tell us in a few words an advice you will give to people who are seeking to acquire lands. What 2 basic or 3 basic things would you advise them to do?
What our advice is that if you want to buy land, first get a document from the owner or whoever wants to sell the land to you. Go to the land commission and have a search. If the ownership is the same as the person who is giving you the indenture or who claims the land is for. Okay. Then what we do normally do is come to the assembly and check the land use or the zoning of that particular land. When you do that, you would be sure if the land you are buying is for the right purpose. Maybe it could be a land sold to you, but that is a zone for commercial activities. So after doing a search at the land commission, do a search at the initial assembly, because we are always around the world. You should show that the land is either for commercial or private or for residential purpose. And once you accept it, you can go ahead. There are instances people come to you with a site plan. I'm selling this land at maybe 28. If the site plan has already been done and given to you, I will advise that once you want to be sure that the owner is the same as the person selling to you, you can have your own surveyor come pick the land for you So you are sure that the search you are doing is in respect of the same land you are buying. Because I am aware that people give you a document in their name, but the land may be at but you cannot read the coordinates that have been put on the document.
Okay.
You and layman will not know. So when you go to check that land commission, the land is for Amen. But then the land is at Okatawaso, and not the land is given to you at Anessa. So those better you are able to get a surveyor of your board to do a search or to pick the land for you to go and do the search. Then the land you are buying is what you are asking for.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Doku, thank you very much. I think we could have broken down, but I think the salient things that we need to know, you've been able to tell us. Like I said, our producer is giving us just a few minutes. If anybody has a question, I think we can still ask it, and Mr. Doku will still be on standby to help us answer those questions. The last contribution he made to the question that I asked about trying to safeguard your interest when you are trying to buy land is what I think we've discussed earlier, is that even if the person gives you document that shows some credibility that indeed the person is the owner of the land, it is important that you yourself goes with your own surveyor to go and pick the land and prepare a site plan for you. Like I said, a site plan, if it is in a registration district, a barcoded site plan. If it's not in a registration district, an approved plan signed by the licensed surveyor and the regional surveyor of that region, then you conduct your search. Because as I have said earlier, and he is also alluding to, the land that is in the plan or in the denture that has been given to you may be in Maryland, but then you may be thinking that you are buying land in maybe Delaware or Virginia. So it is important that the person is the owner of the land in Maryland, but you think that you are buying the land which is in Virginia. So it is so very important, like he's explained, and I have also, I think, had the opportunity to tell you that it is important that you conduct the search by having your own surveyor prepare an approved plan for you or a barcoded plan so that you conduct a search. Conduct a search at the Lands Commission so that you really know that this land that you intend to purchase, it is the same land. Because like we all know, the coordinates will be different. And if you're a layman, you wouldn't know. It is only when a licensed surveyor has prepared the plan for you that you would go and be able to have a search conducted that will give you information about ownership of the land or the interests that are on the land, whether an executive instrument or an acquisition, as he said, and for animal husbandry or for P&T, you will be able to know and interrogate. And like we are seeing, if you go ahead and buy those lands that government have acquired, you are the one who is burdened with what? Trying to negotiate all over again. You have to form association to protect your interests, go to the agency that government acquired the land for, and it can take years because the land was not acquired for residential. The assembly has to prepare a plan, a scheme for that area before they can say that now we are going ahead to maybe regularize. That is even after all the issue about the legal issues about it, about the government revoking the executive instrument, divesting itself of the interest in the land and giving it to the institution or to the owners, the original owners of the land. So you are advised to be cautious. Otherwise, after buying the land, you'll be saddled with what? Penalties about regularization, even if it is done. Even if it is done. And he also encourages that when you do the search at lands, you must also come to the assembly so that you're able to find out the zoning for the land. Otherwise, you may buy land that is meant for a road. You may buy land that is meant for a market. You may buy land that is in a marshy area. And when you go and build, like he said earlier, when it rains, you will be the victim because as for water, it will find its own level and all the difficulties that go with it. like I said, we are still open for a few minutes for questions. So if you want to ask a question, just unmute your mic and then you can be able to ask the question. Are there any questions? Okay, in the absence of any questions, I think we will have to say a big thank you to Mr. Doku for making time to be with us, to give us quite a bit of an insight into the operations of the municipal assembly, that they are responsible for planning, administering the area, making sure that amenities are available, if possible, and there are resources, putting in roads and things like that for the community. So being there to make sure that the community is a well-planned place for all the people who stay there. And he also told us about the challenges that they face, about encroachments that is going on over lands that have been acquired by government, and the issues that come about with it. And also encouraged us that as much as possible, you should conduct search at both the Lands Commission and the Assembly before you go ahead and buy your land. So on that note, we'll say a big thank you, Mr. Doku, for making time for us this evening. Thank you so very much. And those who have listened in and those who viewed have picked up their lessons or have been informed appropriately, and it will help them to, like we said, mitigate the risk that is involved in acquisition of land. So thank you very much. And we know that when we call, should it be necessary for us to call you again, you will agree to come. And then that time, I'm sure the connection will be good, the network will be good, so that we can have a more interactive discussion with you. Thank you very much, and good night. Thank you. Okay. I'm saying thank you. It's unfortunate I'm not getting questions from viewers. It would have helped us to know if the information that we are passing on is being appreciated or is being understood. Where maybe we need to do some work on, we could have done it, but we are not having any questions at the moment. But we hope that as the program continues with time, we'll have more people listening in, more people watching the Zoom, and then they'll be able to bring in their concerns. I said you also have experiences. We are all learning. It's all a learning process. We are all learning. So if you have experiences that you'd want to share, it will be it will be good. We have a proverb in Tree which says that somebody's key opens somebody's door. That means virtually that if somebody's your issue could be an answer. The way you handle an issue may be an answer to somebody's problem. That means we can mutually be able to help people in their issues that confront them. Is there somebody asking a question? Okay. I still think there is nobody asking a question. So on that note, I would have to say that I thank you all for being with us on this episode of Nsaase Nsem, land issues in Ghana. And like I said, I hope we've been able to pick up very important lessons. If you would want to have further discussions with me, or you have a land issue, you want legal advice or assistance about a situation, I said you can contact me on 302-373-4838, which is the Delaware number. And then on WhatsApp, you can get me on 0264-257-030. The Delaware number is 302-373-4838. And on WhatsApp, you can get me on 0264-257-030. And like I said, we'll be able to assist you to get your issues at least clarified and the steps that you need to taken. And then I'm also available to be of legal service to you. So if you want any legal service to be rendered, we would gladly provide it for you. On that note, I'll say a big thank you. Then, God willing, we'll meet again next week. All of us should have a good week. Again next week. Thank you all so very much for listening in and for being part of the Zoom. Thank you all very much. So, Mr. Saka, I would also want to say a big thank you for producing this program. We are grateful. So we'll hand over to you so that the program on Vital can continue. Thank you very much.
Don't get bored alone when there are existing channels that can keep you company anywhere, anytime. vitalGH Media is a mother company of all vitalGH channels. We have multiple platforms for free television. You can watch video on demand, rent or buy, or probably subscribe easily for more update. Visit our channels on Vimeo, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon Roku TV, and many more, anywhere, everywhere, any day, anytime on your mobile phone, TV channels, Apple Store and Play Store. Don't be left out with existing movies and programs on our various channels. You can visit us on www.vitalghradio1.com.